Shalom, Yasharala. It's your brother Dawada from GMS Tampa Bay #07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. All right, we're going to jump into this here lesson dealing with the mark of the beast, all right? Since, this is still a prophecy that's in a process of taking place, They're setting up this here system, as we see, with all the, your debit cards and your credit cards, driver's license, everything is starting to get these chips, and they also, people at their people's employers are implementing the chips at their jobs, at certain schools and things like that. They've been had the chip in schools, they were just an ID card, but now we're moving into that phase where they're starting to implement them inside of human beings' bodies, like the way the scriptures speak about, And on top of that, you see just everything is moving towards that direction, and that as we get closer and closer to these things, we have to, further push this here prophecy out, and people, you have people out there debating whether or not it's the mark of the beast is the RFID chip or not, but again, how the scriptures say, if you don't believe me for my work's sake, You don't have to necessarily believe what we telling you, which is out of the scriptures, which, is true. But just look at what Esau's doing, because we know the ones that don't believe that this is the chip, they believe on Esau, they listen to what Esau is saying, Well, Esau is telling you the exact same thing we telling you, Look at all his ways of, his ways are going, He's going down that path towards that, He's setting up a system for that, And there's a lot of other technologies that go along with that mark of the beast, as you see that all those things come online, you'll know that that's the infrastructure for the mark of the beast, Part of the mark of the beast, the mark of the beast is the RFID chip, But just that chip alone is not going to just work by itself, You're going to need other things, and Esau's, not in his mind, but from Esau's perspective, in order to get that whole program online, he's going to need a lot of other things, And those other things are something that they call the Internet 2.0, the Internet of Things, in which the Internet of Things is pretty much everything is going to be online, It's going to be like your refrigerator is you're going to have, how they have smart TVs, smart watches, smart everything, Your refrigerator is going to be a smart refrigerator, And they is going to tell you, and then everything inside of your refrigerator is going to have a chip as well, So let's say you have some milk inside your refrigerator, and the chip is monitoring and measuring the amount of milk that you have inside of the jug, and once it start getting low, they're going to so-called order you some more milk, let you know that there's, you need some milk or whatever, whatnot, This is how Esau is advertising this here system, the Internet of Things, And also, another thing that they already have online, that they've had online for a while out in California, smart meters, Whereas, you have your regular energy reading meter that's reading how much energy you're using at your house. And if you're using too much, or at a bad time or whatever, they so-called, allocate certain things, And this is another thing why Esau wants this Internet of Things in place, so that he can control, with the chip, he's going to be able to control you. But with the Internet of Things, he's going to be able to control you by the way of all the other things you have, So like with the smart meters, Esau is able to allocate the amount of time that you're going to be using certain appliances, whatever, whatnot, like the amount of time, the duration, and also what time you use it, If he says that, there's a lot of energy being consumed around 12 noon, well, and you want to run your washer and dryer, you got to wait till, let's say, 12 o'clock midnight, where there's less people using the electricity, to further balance it out, and so on and so forth with all these other things. So if you see how he's trying to control and monitor, with the smart meters of how you use your appliances, how much more with all the other things. So if you go back to the smart refrigerator, and let's say, there's some people, I know some people who like literally have cases upon cases of Coca-Cola in their house, you walk inside their house and it look like they're at the local 7-Eleven and they just got a shipment in, And so from Esau's perspective, he might just be like, oh, well, you don't need this much Coke inside of your house. You got way too much, or you're consuming too much or whatever, whatnot, And which, everybody has their own little reasons for whatever, whatnot, and the people that, I'm referring to, they actually have a lot of people in their household, and they buy in bulk, more or less like once a month, they buy for the whole month all at one time, But, in Esau's mind, he's like, no, that's not convenient. We need you to keep reading up, whatever, however he wants to do it. More or less, it's just his control over you, Same with your car. Okay, well, with so-called global warming and the emissions on your car, you just driving around aimlessly, you just want to hang out and just ride around, you just burning up gas that, that we want to control and monitor, and you putting out pollutants out into the air that we want to control and monitor, This is Esau's so-called problem. The reaction is we're going to look into it. The solution is, the reaction is the microchip to measure all this. The solution would be, okay, we're going to just limit you on whatnot, And as if you see any of these types of systems already in place, that's exactly what happens, They limit you on certain things and how do I say, they limit you, they put limitations on you on certain things that keep you in control to do whatever they want you to do, So, these are just things to look at, like I was explaining, these other technologies that go hand in hand with this mark of the beast microchip, Like I said, the Internet of Things, that's going to be the thing that's going to be, everything's going to be online. Everything with those chips is going to be online. All right. Now, in order to have all those items online and transferring all that information, that rapidly and to be able to just transfer all that information on a bandwidth highway, more or less to say, if you know anything about computers, they're going to need a super highway, more or less to say, in the terminology of bandwidth, And so what are they going to do with that? 5G technology, all right? And 5G technology is one of the side effects, more or less to say, of 5G technology is that you get that so-called high internet highway of traffic to where you can maneuver a lot of things over the internet, at once. But that's not their main purpose for that. Their main purpose for that, is something that they can basically kill you with that, When you go over and look at the military equipment they used out in Ferguson, when they had those riots out there, they had these big satellite dish looking things and they were pointing it towards people. And then from that, the people, they would feel like a burning sensation, Same thing with this 5G technology, Just like how they tell you with your cell phones, prolonged use could cause cancer and stuff like that. They're irradiating your cells. The same thing is going to happen with this 5G technology. All right. And then when you look into 5G technology, they already rolling this here out with a test plan in Texas. Okay. And the way they speak about this in Congress, is very sketchy. They say we don't have the time to wait and test to see what the results will be. The harmful effects on human beings. We have to be the first. America has to be the first to implement this before any other country, And also with their currency, you see the rise of cryptocurrencies coming out, all right? What is a cryptocurrency, more or less? These are all these so-called digital currencies, all right? And when you go into the blockchain and all these things, all these systems work hand in hand with one another, all right? If you understand blockchain, all right? Now, if you understand blockchain, it'd be a lot easier for you to understand quantum computing and D-wave computers, like what they really need these things for, all right? To simultaneously update certain things, So like in cryptocurrencies, they'll say they have 1,000 computers around the world, Let's just say it could be any number. Let's just say 1,000 computers, So-called with the same information being mirrored, So when you update one computer, they have to go out and send a memo out to everybody else to update their logs, or their bookkeeping records, And, the way to get around that is basically with blockchain, they have, it's a little difficult to explain, but they'll have like one computer that'll come up with some kind of algorithm, to update the system, and all the other 1,000 computers have to check to make sure it's all right, so on and so forth. And then they all simultaneously update. Same with these D-Wave computers. They're super processors, super quick. They can process a lot of information really quick. You got 1,000 or 1,000,000 chips, just imagine your interstate, every car passing on the interstate is going to have a chip. Every part inside of that car is going to have a chip. All right. Every person, human being that's inside those cars is going to have a chip. Every item inside the car is going to have a chip. So if you go to the grocery store with your family of 4, and you ride it down the highway, you just spent $200 worth of groceries. Everything in your grocery bag has a chip. Okay. So how are you going to, and you drive your car past this here scanner to read those chips, and you're not the only car, they want to simultaneously do this while you passing by 60, 70 miles an hour. All right. They're going to use, not really quantum computers. It's something even more, faster than that. D-Wave computers, I think they're up to D-Wave 3 now. All right. Super processing. And then also it mirrors the information like super quick. So you can update one computer here. Let's say there's a person at McDonald's, you know how they have McDonald's everywhere worldwide, and let's say they want to go and change the menu, the little pictures on the menu in the background, and they got to go through, and every McDonald's got to go and put up the new signage, they got to send out the email, and the managers got to get it, and they got to go put it out there, and everybody got to put it up before they can get up and online, Well, the way these D-Waves work, the D-Wave computers work, is that, you'll have, let's say, one McDonald's, they'll decide to update their prices on the boards, and as soon as they put it up there, every single McDonald's that there is simultaneously updated without no so-called human interference. You don't have to have all these employees do all this, So in actuality, you can control, let's say, all 100,000 of your McDonald's just by controlling one. Whatever you do on one is going to copy over to the other ones. So like I'm saying on this technology, okay, you have millions of RFID chips, the mark of the beast. All right. Now you need, you're going to need something to be able to, you're going to need something to measure for one. So the human being is going to be for one, but then also with the Internet of Things, every other item, besides humans are going to be microchipped, they're going to microchip the humans too, but everything else is going to be microchipped, and it's going to be put online as well with you, on the Internet of Things. Then they're going to need, a computer to be able to process all of this. So they're going to have the D-Wave computer, which they already have. Then they're going to need a so-called fast lane, express lane internet highway to be able to move all this information. So they're rolling out 5G technology. All right. And again, like I said, as you see all this technology coming online right now, it's evident what Esau is doing, So, again, if you don't want to believe what we telling you because it's coming out of the scriptures, and you want to go onto your God Esau, okay, listen to what he's telling you. Look at what he's doing. Look at all the things he's implementing, already putting up. He's preparing for this RFID chip, all right? So we're going to just jump here into the scriptures. This is Revelation chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 16. It says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, all right? And so, like I was saying, Esau's his plan is, okay, we're going to break it down to multiple sections, but his plan is to microchip every human being on the planet Earth, all right? So like it says in verse 16, he calls it all, okay, everybody, both small and great, I would be a so-called small person. Donald Trump would be a so-called great person, all right? Donald Trump could go tell the military to go bomb North Korea, and that's what they're going to do, whether they want to do it or not, all right? If I go tell the military to go bomb North Korea, they're going to look at me like I'm stupid, all right? So both small and great, rich and poor, all right? Somebody rich would be, what rich is, somebody that has, not to say more than you, but like, somebody that has, like, let's say somebody as broke as somebody with $1 million, that's so-called rich, $10 million, 20 million, or 10 million, 50 million, 100 million, a couple 100 million, 500 million, a billion, a couple billion, all those people, small and great, rich and poor, the rich. Hey, you got all that money. You got Oprah Winfrey money, Bill Gates money, Jay-Z money. In any of those levels, your ass is grass. Donald Trump money. You're going to get this chip, If you, like I said, poor, regular, going to work, the working poor, like myself, hey, Esau's plan is to chip even the working poor, even the homeless, all right? The actual poor, It says, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, all right? Now, when we go into this here word mark, the word for mark is charagma. It says a stamp, an imprinted mark. Okay, so it's a stamp or an imprinted mark. Now, when you go back in time to think about that, who do you know who used to have a stamp or imprinted mark? They did this in the Holocaust, so-called in the Holocaust, to monitor and how do I say, to keep records on all these people, to number all these people, so on and so forth, And then also, if you was a runaway slave or something like that, they would brand you as a runaway slave, and also cattle, they brand their own cattle, they put this here mark on there, or, shit, you can even go to just what you see in regular life, the people, okay, the Ford Motor Company, how can you find, all their products that they sell, or they have their imprinted mark or their stamp on them. It's called the Ford logo. Same with Chevrolet. They got the Chevy bow tie on there. You know, you can find out what type of store it is just by looking at the stamp that's on top of it. You know what the difference between Bath and Body Works is. You know, Bath and Body Works is a store. You know, same as Walmart is a store. You know, or Bass Pro Fishing is a store as well. You know, they're all stores, but like let's take Walmart out of there. Bath and Body Works and Bass Pro Fishing. You know, they're both stores, but what's the difference between the two? You know, obviously they sell different things, but how do I know if they're both stores? Look at the imprinted mark or the stamp. All right. Now, the imprinted mark or that stamp, what is that going into? You know, when you imprint or stamp something like the examples I'm giving, you know, it's pretty much a show of your property. This is saying like, look, I own you. All right. Ford owns, you know, the Ford Motor Company owns all the cars. You know, they produced all the cars. That's their mark on all the cars with the Ford logo. Same with Chevy. All right. You can distinguish the type of store or, you know, what the owner had in mind off of the sign on the store, like Bath and Body Works. Okay, I know what that is. I know what it belongs, not more or less to say who it belongs to. It belongs to a person who wants to sell like so-called feminine products, you know, smell good products, you know. And I know that Bass Pro Fishing, because of the sign or the stamp or the imprinted mark on the sign or the store. Okay, it's talking about, you know, bass fishing, you know. So I know that inside of there, the owner of that store wants it to just be fishing stuff, you know. So this is more or less Esau's mark that of his ownership. Like the scriptures say, he say in his own heart that he shall ascend above the clouds like the most. I should be like the Most High, more or less to say. You know, he said, I'll be like the Most High. You know, he exalts himself above everything that is called God. All right, sitting in the temples. Basically, he himself see himself as God. All right, and if he see himself as God, you know, look at the position he in. He's in a position over top of everybody else. It's obvious that he think that, you know. Look at the image that he painted over when he covered the faces of the judges, you know. The so-called white man didn't paint over Yahushua's picture, you know, or his likeness of his picture, you know, and put up somebody from a different race. No, he painted it like his own self because that's what he thought, you know. The so-called depiction of the Most High, you know. Esau painted himself as that as well, too, you know, him touching Adam's finger, and he painted himself as Adam, you know. So Esau thinks of himself as God, and everybody else is in subjection unto him. All right. And so if he thinks he's everybody else's God and everybody's in subjection unto him, that means everybody else is his property, more or less to say. All right. And just like the cattle or your slaves or the Ford Motor Company, you want to brand or stamp, put that mark on all your property, everything that you own. Okay. So you can further control it. All right. So going back into this definition, it says a stamp, an imprinted mark. Mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist or the anti-Hamashiach. All right, the anti-Messiah. All right. So you're going to get, again, now, who is against the Most High and Yahushua and the way that the Most High have things set up? Right? It's Esau. Esau is the one that's doing all the things that's against the Most High. Look at how Babylon is being ran. All right. The laws of the land here now is exactly what the Most High said, just in reverse. All right. You know, two homosexuals or two men shouldn't be having sex with each other, you know, and if they do, they need to both be put to death. But Esau says, nah, two men need to be getting married together and having sex with each other, you know. So, you know, Esau has his mindset to just be adverse with the Most High and Yahushua. All right. So now it says as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist. All right. So if you got a badge or a follower or you stamped or imprinted on this, you know what I'm saying? It's showing your so-called allegiance to that. All right. You just keep following Esau and everything he tell you to do. Look, this is going to give you superpowers. This is going to make things easier for you. This is going to make this and that for you, you know. But what he's not telling you is the fact that we using this to track your ass, all right? And we're going to be able to control all your assets with all this stuff. And then whenever we want, you know, we could just turn your chip off and you can't do nothing. Or, you know, we could put a deadly release of some kind of chemical inside of there. So at any point in time, whenever you get out of line, hey, man, we could just release that juice inside of you, you know? And if you on top as Esau, I mean, why wouldn't you want this type of system? Because if, you know, you on top, you're afraid that you're going to get overthrown, you know? And one way to stop that is to know what everybody else is thinking. So if anybody ever tries to have a thought like that, you just go ahead and close them out, you know? And this is what Esau's planning on doing. All right. So it says, going into the definition again. It says, the mark branded upon horses, like I was speaking on the cattle and stuff like that. All right. Things carved, sculpture, graven work, and of idolatrous image. Going down to Strong's definition, it says, a scratch or etching, i.e. stamp as a badge of servitude. Okay. Again, you're going to be in subjection under Esau. This is his so-called signature that he gonna put on everybody else. Look, I own these motherfuckers. You know, I own everybody out here, you know, because they got my mark on them. All right. It says a sculpture, figure, statue, graven, or mark. All right. So, so pretty much, you know, like I was going into, this is going to be a mark that's engraven into your skin, more or less to say, you know, or how do I say, injected underneath your skin. All right. When you take a syringe, like the way when you see them putting these chips inside of people, what do they take? They take a big ass syringe. All right. Put the chip on the inside, and then they more or less they cut inside of your skin to get the syringe in. Then they inject it in there. All right. So, you know, going straight into this here definition, you know, they flat out telling you exactly how it's going to actually be implemented, because it says it's going to be in your right hand or in your forehead. All right. But how is it going to get there? Is it going to be something drawn on, or is it going to be something taped on, something you're going to wear like a watch? Nah, it's going to be actually graven or engraved inside of you, imprinted inside of you. All right. Now going down to verse 17, this is Revelation 13 and 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. All right. So now this here part, like verse 16, like I said, it was speaking about him putting chips in human beings, just people, you know. Verse 17 is going in that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark. All right. So it's basically still cutting off your trade transactions, your movement, and you're not going to be able to do anything. You can't get a job because, hey, how are they going to pay you? All right. They're going to pay you on this cryptocurrency. All right. And where are you going to store your cryptocurrency? On this chip. All right. And when you go inside these stores, they're not going to take cash no more. They're not going to have registers. You know, they had a commercial about this years back to where there was a shady looking dude in a black trench coat walking through the grocery store, picking up a bunch of items and putting them in his coat and everything like that, you know. And he looked like he's stealing, and he walks out the door, and the security guard is like, hey, stop, wait. And then the guy turns around, he's like, you forgot your receipt, you know. But they just showed a guy pick up all this stuff and just walk out the store. Why? You know, and I forgot what country it is, but they already have these grocery stores and stores without basically cashiers, more or less to say, you know. And they're bringing that over here to America. Why? Because they have the chip technology in there already. You just walk out the store with it, and it's the Internet of Things. Every item is already chipped. All right. As you putting it inside your cart and you walk outside, you know what I'm saying? It's going to register that. Then you're going to be chipped. All right. So it's going to go ahead and take it out of your account. All right. And a couple businesses like that here already in America. Oh, look at Walmart. All right. It used to be in Walmart that, you know, they got a bunch of different lanes. You know, you have a bunch of people at the register. Then you had about 3 or 4 self-checkout lanes. All right. Now you have about 3 or 4 people at the register. And then you have, you know, an abundance of every other lane is a self-checkout lane, you know. And then they also have that, you know, that store pickup. You know, you just order it online. You go to the store and you just go ahead and pick it up. You know, they're slowly easing you into that way of being able to use that technology, ways of having that technology being implemented. All right. Now from there we're gonna go to. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, verse 4. So, like, one second. This is Ezekiel 9 and 4. All right. And Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. All right. Now, this mark here, which I'll say for a different lesson, is a different word, different definition, different meaning. All right. It's not the same mark that we just read about in Ezekiel or in Revelation chapter 13. All right. I read that just to read, you know, to give you a context. All right. This is going to be a compare and contrast. These people here are receiving the mark of the Most High. All right. But then from what I'm about to read next is going to be the judgment of those who take the mark of the beast. All right. This is verse 5, Ezekiel 9 and 5. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maid and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. It says, and he said unto them, defile the house and fill the courts with all the slain, go ye forth. And they went forth and slew the city. Okay. So basically here you read that, you know, if you don't have the mark of the Most High, all right, you're gonna damn sure get the mark of the beast. There's no questions asked, you know. It's going to be either or, all right? But here from verse 5 on down to 8 or verse 7, you know, it's basically the Most High giving that commandment. Anybody that ain't protected, you know, the ones that I got numbered out, you know, they going to take this mark of the beast chip. And everybody that do got the chip, you know, it says, go ye out. It says, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have any pity. Okay? Don't have no pity on these people. Go out there and just straight kill spray on their ass, you know, more or less to say, you know, and kill everything breathing. This is the Most High's commandment, you know, and this ain't nothing new. You know, when King Saul was supposed to go out with the Amalekites, that was the same commandment there, kill everything breathing, you know, but he brought back the king and some cows, you know, that was wicked, you know, but the angels they're not going to spare, you know, they're going to follow the Most High's commandments, you know. So, you know, the judgment that's spoken about here for taking the mark of the beast is basically your ass is grass, all right? You going to wind up dying either by the famine, by pestilence, you know, race wars. One of these ways you gonna wind up dying, you know. But then there's a very special judgment for those that still got the mark of the beast chip, you know, that endure all of this. All right, and we're gonna get into that. So that's one part of the judgment. We're gonna go back to Revelation chapter what is it, 14 and 5? No, I'm going to start at verse 8. This is Revelation 14 and 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of her fornication. All right. And yeah, this is coming pretty much at the end all be all, you know, when America's going out, you know, we're going to read it. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. All right. So if you wind up receiving this here mark, all right, this is going to be your judgment. All right. The Most High got it set out for you already. If you receive this mark, it says, and it says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. Okay. So like they say, Jake like to say, straight no chaser, you know, the Most High is going to be pouring out his fury, his wrath, you know, and he ain't going to be holding back. It ain't going to be nothing to cut it with, you know. It says, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast or his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Okay. So, you know, as they speak in here, you know, basically those that, you know, like I said, when you read Ezekiel, from Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 5 on down, you know, you have those that's basically getting killed off by either plagues, pestilence, the sword in the streets, you know. But the ones that make it through all of that, you know, like I said, the Most High got a special judgment for you. All right, you're gonna get caught up into the lake of fire. All right, you're gonna go down when Babylon is fully how do I say, when it's fully annihilated. You know, when Babylon is fully done, you know, you're gonna go out right there with it. You're gonna have your part in the lake of fire. All right, when these nuclear missiles come down. All right. Actually, I'm going to grab two more scriptures and we're going to close out with that. So like that scripture just said, you know, Babylon is fallen, right? So we're going to go over to the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 12. He disappointed the device of the crafty. Okay. Who is the crafty? Esau is the crafty. All right. It says he disappointed the devices of the crafty so their hands cannot perform their enterprise. All right. And what is their enterprise that they want to put together? All right. The enterprise they want to put together is the New World Order. They want to have dominion over every damn body. They want to rule over everybody. A one world government, one world everything. You know, this is what Esau wants to do. All right. And now how is it that he's going to have control and dominion over everybody? He's going to get that by microchipping everybody. That way he can monitor everybody. If you start going off doing this, doing that, he's going to, he's going to be able to monitor you, even if you have crazy thoughts in your mind, he's going to be able to monitor you. As a matter of fact, there's been a couple of videos come out recently. Let's go back to 2010. Barack Obama, you can YouTube this. Barack Obama's Brain Initiative program. All right. Barack Obama, in the so-called fight against Alzheimer's. Okay. This is the guys that they hide under, he implemented this, put aside some money and signed into law the Brain Initiative program, So as, basically the way they say it is, if you old and you lose your memory and things like that, we're going to give you this here chip to help you keep your memory, Now, fast forward till today with the technology, they're like, look, man, if you lose your memory or whatever, whatnot, we can, give you your memory back, or, we could first we have to download your whole memory, and then we could just give it back to you if you ever lose it. Or if you have a traumatic experience in your life and you want to delete that, we can download your memory, erase that part, and then, give you a new, memory, Or if you just got a shitty life and you want a way better life, well, fuck it. We can take away your whole shitty life memory and put in a fake illusion in your mind that you actually live a good life. All right. Now, and another technology that is out right now that people aren't really realizing is part of this market beast system, and the whole system that Esau has set up for you is with the video games. All right. The new virtual reality on these video games. I think it was maybe last year or so, or maybe a couple years back when this came out. They had the virtual reality video games, which people just, okay, it's a video game, Then they got you playing that Pokemon Go where, you walking around, with, let me see, there's a difference between virtual reality and augmented reality. Virtual reality would be you playing, let's say, for instance, you playing, Madden on, let's say, PlayStation, and you playing it virtual reality, right? Now, while you got the goggles on, you looking at, the game that you're playing, you would technically see yourself inside the video game on the fake, football field with the fake characters. You would see all of that, around. That would be your surrounding. That's where you would be at. Okay. That's virtual reality. All right. Now they got something called augmented reality, where it's like the game Pokemon Go. All right. When you put the thing on, like, let's say you play Pokemon Go with a headset on instead of just looking through your phone. When you're looking through the lenses, what do you see? You see your normal environment. Let's say you're playing in your bedroom, you're still going to see your bedroom, but then the Pokemon are going to be the virtual item that's popping up, whatever it is going to be popping up. All right. So you're going to be seeing, like, in your bedroom, a real background, you're going to start seeing crazy shit popping up, So with the virtual reality and all this type of stuff, how Esau's implementing this with this microchip, again, with the Brain Initiative and him putting in memories and things like that, he already know that if everybody realizes that they slaves and stuff and got all this bullshit going on, they're going to revolt. They're going to stand up, So Esau has in his mind, like, I'll just give them fake memories and make them all feel like everything is good, Now, when you go back to the movie The Matrix, all right, when they was plugging in and plugging out, that's exactly what the hell this is all about, with the virtual reality and all that stuff, all right? That's how damn, now I'm thinking about it, the Matrix is all of these systems in one, You had the D-Wave computers processing all that information super quick, When they was showing Neo fighting, he was like, oh shit, his stats is they going super quick, they off the charts, Then they had, the little green shit rolling down. You can see the fake ass world and the woman with the red dress, your augmented reality or your virtual reality, Then they also had, they had all these different things going on inside that movie, your so-called microchips and your brain implants, they plugged you in and downloaded your memory. Neo said, I know Kung Fu, that's what Esau's trying to get you to go with, but when you look closely at that movie, all the nice looking scenes of all the nice little backgrounds, this and that, that's how Esau's going to portray it for you to be. But in reality, it was all fucked up, And so from Esau's mind, he could have everybody in prison, feeding you straight slop. But as long as you got your little headset on, you think you live in a palace in paradise on an island somewhere, And so you're not going to complain or do anything about it. You're going to just go do your work and then go right back into your little virtual reality, So, like I said, as you start to see all these technologies come up and are in place right now, you already know what time it is, all right? So going back to Job 5 and 12, it says he disappointed the devices of the crafty so that his hand cannot perform the enterprise, okay? in the enterprise of this new world order. Okay, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. All right, so basically, Esau is pretty much in a trick bag already. He think he about to get this here going, but it's not going to end well for him. All right, and we're gonna find out when and how it's going to end for him. This is the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 22. It says, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save that which he which he desired. All right. So, he planning on getting this whole planet and all the resources and everything like that. But he ain't going to have none of that. All right. It says, there shall be none of his meat left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. And right now, Esau's sitting on top of all the resources, save all the people right now, Once he gets all the people under his belt, then hey, he got everything golden, because the people are the most important resource on the planet Earth. All right. If you have the people and the control over the people will go and plow the whole earth for all the other resources. All right. Now, if you got gold, all right, and you want it, gold is, so-called expensive of value, is monetary means, but with that gold, you still have to convince a person that the gold is enough payment for whatever job you want them to do, or make sure that somebody don't steal it from you. But if you have the people's minds, you can just be like, look, bro, I need you to go out there and get this here gold for me and bring it back, and you can't take none of it, and I'm not going to pay you nothing. All right. It says, verse 22, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. All right. So basically, he's going to get this nuke bath, like we read about in Revelation chapter 14. All right. Dealing with the judgment of those that was in the lake of fire. All right. He's going to rain it down on him while he's still eating. All right. He's going to flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. That's talking about those nukes. That's how you're going to get that lake of fire, talking about that judgment. All right. So it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, and when he's about to fill his belly. All right. When he's about full, and he's about to Salakia. When he's about to fill his belly, that's when it's going to be, once you see, like, as we see now, all these technologies is rolling out, he's starting to let people voluntarily take all these things. But when he's about to switch his whole system over, all right, it's mandatory to do this. It's mandatory to do that, like when they made it mandatory to switch from analog to digital TVs, when they made that mandatory, that, basically that's how you're going to be able to tell when it's mandatory to get all these things. All right, we're rolling out the internet 2.0. All right, now we're rolling out new cryptocurrencies. All right, now we're rolling out the Internet of Things, when we're rolling out 5G. When you see all these things coming together and they all starting to get linked together, this is when these nukes are going to come down. This is when it's going to be the end all be all, And the fucked up part about it is the ones that's taking this chip, it's not going to be long after, It says in the fullness of his sufficiency, when he's about to fill his belly, like saying, all right, I only got 10 more people left to chip, And the person who just got chipped right before he said that 10, it might only be, a couple seconds after he get his damn chip when the missiles come down, But with that, Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying. Until next time, I say, Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me the truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push in his truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. Stay strong. Shalom.